Nishant Jain, who is the MD and CEO of Bigen Pharmaceuticals and also associated with Bigen Publishing. So welcome, Nishant. I hope you're here.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, audible. How are you doing?
I'm very good. There's a slight audio lag, but you are audible.
Okay. Just is it audible now?
Yes, it's better.
All right. Okay.
All right, friends. So let me first introduce Nishant Jain. Although he doesn't need any introduction, most of us know him, but still, let's do the formality. Nishant Jain earned his master's in business administration from SP Jain, Mumbai. He joined the family business at a very young age. He is a very hardworking individual who started his journey at grassroots level, where he was responsible for the sales of the homeopathic software. His work made him travel around the country, I would rather say around the world, and he got an extensive exposure to the market. He later headed the publishing division, where he was successful in creating partnerships on a global level, including formation of Bigen Archibald, which was the first venture of the company outside India. He also was the key person responsible for the diversification of business into pharmaceuticals. He has been able to set up a world-class pharma facility and was amongst the very few pharma companies who got approved by US FDA for the manufacturing of homeopathic medicines. Bigen is one of the top few homeopathic pharma companies in the country today. Someone's... Yes, please.
Yeah. Nika, can you just mute yourself, please?
So in 2020, he forayed into the personal hygiene segment and has been able to grow the business to the next level. He's a member of various homeopathic government organizations and plays an active role in the policy framing and medicinal research. So a very warm welcome, Nishant. That's too many things that you do. And I still remember like meeting you somewhere in 2002, I believe.
Yeah, just the starting of my career at that
yes,
stage.
Your career had started, my career had started. I'd come to Delhi to have an association with Bigen to sell your books at my portal. And what a journey it has been. 20 years, 21 years. Yeah. Yes, it has been an amazing journey, the way you have progressed and the way I have managed.
True. So, I mean, I must appreciate the way you started up and where you are at the moment. It's quite a commendable job, I must say that. So everyone knows H-Pathy, which is where it stands, and I must appreciate that. So we're glad that we connected and we're working together still. So
yes,
nice.
Thank you so much, Nishant. Yes, it's always a pleasure to connect with you and work with you. Your journey has been astounding, I must say. From where you started working at Bigen Publishing, I still remember being, you can say, a bit of an insider. I know that the publishing part was struggling when you actually joined.
Yeah.
Although Bigen was the leading publisher even at that point of time, but in terms of revenue, there was some struggle at that point of time. How did you manage to turn that business? Hello?
Yeah, I was just...
You are frozen, Nishant. Hello. We have lost Nishant for a while. I'm sure he must be joining back again.
No, we try to get in touch with him and see what's the issue.
So friends, if you have any questions, Nishant heads Bigen Publishing, which is the world's largest homeopathic publishing house. He is also running one of the largest pharmaceutical companies today, Bigen Pharmaceuticals. And so if you have any questions, and he's also a partner with Archibald and marketing the radar software in India and many parts of the world. So if you have any questions related to publishing software or pharmaceutical business that you would like to ask Nishant, go ahead and post it in the comment box, and I would be happy to ask Nishant, pass your questions to Nishant.
Yes, he's back, Dr. Manish.
Is it? Yes, it's working now. I'm sorry for the snack.
And not at all an issue, Nishant. So what I would like to know is when you joined publishing business, your father's publishing business, there were issues in the terms of scaling that business, in terms of revenue, and how did you manage to turn that business around? What were the areas that you worked? What were the bottlenecks that you faced? And how has been the journey so far in the publishing world?
The publishing journey has been, I think it's got us a lot of experience of the challenges, as you know, that when you're working at the world's largest publisher, it had its own challenges because you reach to a level where the growth becomes a major hurdle, because it got to a level where it got a little stagnant, because internationally a lot of the online version or the soft versions of the books started coming in till that time. And when I joined in, so basically what was happening was people were shifting from the traditional book reading business to the online or ebooks kind of situation. So certainly it was a big challenge in that industry. But the way I think we perceived and we started working on the market was like BGen was primarily available at almost every single school in the industry today, on different parts of the world in different languages. But I think we started off with collaborating with a lot of international authors at the level of doing some co-publishing at the level of, like we started up with a company called BGen Archibald, which was in collaboration with the world's best-selling homeopathic software from Belgium. So that was when we brought in a lot of international teachers by creating new content. And the content has to be redesigned because there's a lot of literature which was there from the old style of writing. But now, we started thinking of coming out with the new content, which probably was the need of the hour for students or for practitioners, more of a clinical side books. So creating that content was a big challenge. So when we started making that and making it available was something which really helped us in getting that niche in the market and be upfront. So, yeah.
So is the increasing digitization of homeopathic content in various homeopathic softwares and various homeopathic websites, is it a major challenge today?
Not really. I think if I would say the homeopathic book publishing, it's at the same time, it has grown many folds since the time I joined in, because now the kind of books which are being read, it's major students oriented or college, and there are a lot of new opportunities. So we're doing we're creating a lot of content for students rather than practitioners, because practitioners, they love reading on the digitized world and the softwares and all. But for students, there's a lot of content which is required for them, which is customized to their needs. So we did work on the level of textbooks and making content accordingly. So I think, in fact, there's not much literature available for that genre at that stage, because there were books which were done for the doctors, but not really student-oriented books. So we changed that complete positioning, and rather market increased for us, because when you're talking about so many students coming in the colleges every day across the globe, so we are able to cater to that market for sure at the moment.
And is there a market for patient-oriented books?
Not really. I would say there used to be a time when a lot of people who were hobby practitioners or who had love for homeopathy used to read books and buy books for their practice. But now, since the market is getting more organized, so I think self-prescribing has certainly gone down. They believe on doctors majorly, which is certainly a good point in homeopathy right now. And people who love to read about homeopathy, there's a lot of content available on the internet. So it's basically the hobby practitioners and people who want to research and do something about it. I think softwares are a good tool for that for sure at the moment. So the market is divided into two different sectors when it comes to book publishing now.
So after the book publishing work, you actually moved ahead and forged an association with Archibald and started a marketing radar in India and many other parts of the world. What has been your experience in related to homeopathic software and how the industry has shaped, and what have been the challenges in making homeopathic software available to all the students and the practitioners?
I think technology is the key right now, whether it comes to, everyone is more prone to use computers and their handies and the different versions of the electronic medias. So certainly for sure that everyone, because as you know, the kind of vast information homeopathy has to offer. So on daily level, every single homeopath or practitioner, they have to refer to some kind of information, which is much more easier and accessible. So I think the need and the demand is certainly on the rise. And there are a lot of people who want to use this technology for their daily needs, which is there at the moment. And I see that to a great future as the product offering in the market, because there's more than 200,000 practitioners coming in every year, and the number of softwares being sold is still a small percentage. So I think it's a big market if you talk about in terms of the electronic version of the homeopathic books being available for the market here. So certainly there's a great future, but yeah, it has to evolve to the everyday needs, to more convenience and much more. That answers have to be met by different software right now, and which I believe all the softwares are doing right now to take care for those needs, and people are going for those solutions.
What has been your experience? We have recently, in the last decade, we have seen a shrinkage of the international market.
Yeah.
In terms of number of homeopaths being produced and the number of homeopathy clinics and schools coming up. So what is your experience? What has been your experience regarding the market size internationally? India is, of course, growing, we all know.
I think there's a shift. I would not say the market is shrinking, but there's a major shift from the Western world. Homeopathy is getting on the Asian side. Like there was no homeopathy in China about a decade back, but now there's so many homeopaths who are getting into homeopathy, and they're learning and they're becoming students. At least they started getting into that area. When you talk about Japan, we talk about Thailand, you talk about Asian market per se, the African market per se, which never had any impression on homeopathy. So I would say certainly homeopathy was confined to the Western world earlier, or India to a major sector. But I think it is more to do in the developing nations and underdeveloped countries. They are taking this route much more aggressively than the Western world. So I don't see that to be a challenge, but I see as a big opportunity that maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line, homeopathy has got a bigger market in these nations, whereby homeopathy is an economical way of giving solutions to the patients at the same time with these markets coming up. So I think, for the moment, they're pretty small. So and it takes some time for them to get to a sustainable level. But there's a great future ahead for sure at the same time.
Yes, that's very heartening to actually hear from somebody who is delving into different areas of homeopathic market and who continues to travel all across the world to cater to different markets. So it must have been really difficult for you these last 2 years with being homebound.
I think being homebound, physically I've been confined to my hometown for the moment for last 2 years primarily, but in terms of work front, we've been keeping a very busy now. Especially, I think last 4 years have been extremely busy for us in terms of work front. We're growing by the rate of almost about 40 to 50% every year.
Oh, that's an amazing growth.
So it's certainly a great motivation. So and we're moving ahead on these in this direction at the moment. Yeah.
How did COVID impact the business side?
It helped a lot. Why? Because when you talk about the market in general, a lot of people who didn't know about homeopathy started at least talking about homeopathy or as one of the probable solutions for their day-to-day needs. And I see that at least we've got some impression at majority of markets whereby people are at least looking at homeopathy as one of the solutions. So I think when we talk about the products that we offer in the market, the generic products like mother tinctures and dilutions, the sales almost for every single company in the country has at least gone double to 3 times in last 2 years.
Wow.
So I see that. So basically, in the sense, the market is, for bigger companies, maybe the percentage will not be that much, but yes, the growth is certainly there in the industry as such for the generic medicines at the moment, and which shows that there is acceptance from the market in general. It's not just been, it's stagnant, so it's increasing for sure.
Okay. So at what point of time did you think that Bigen needs to venture into the pharmaceutical industry also?
Actually, to be very honest, it was a decision which was done within the family, because I'm a part of the 3rd generation of Bigen, and I've got my younger sibling also joining the business. And when you see that the publishing business was on the auto run mode, whereby the business is growing and things are moving in the right platform, so there was not much to be contributed by the next generation in the business as such. So we thought of rather than just continuing the same business, it's rather makes sense that within the same vertical of homeopathy to encash our presence to the market, basically on the pharmaceutical level. So that was the major reason that we got into medicines. But for sure, I think with medicines coming into play, and I think we are extension of the brand in the market is there.
And when you started this pharmaceutical business, what were the challenges? What were the hurdles you faced?
I would say a lot. It's, as you would know, that we were into book publishing, did not have much experience on the manufacturing front, but certainly we knew homeopathy very well. And homeopathy runs within the family, as within the blood, that we know and we live for it as a system. And when we started off, I think the major challenge which we faced, it was the belief, because we come from a background whereby we are the leaders in the industry on the book publishing front. And we presume that, we will be accepted in the market open-handedly, and people will go and use the product upfront by like the way they have, they love our products in the books and the software division. They would likewise, they get into the pharmaceutical sector. But it was a big challenge because there are more than 350 manufacturers within the country. And when they want to use the products, they want to have the trust. They want to have in terms of they want to try the product. They want to see it, that how well you can deliver. And so basically the belief and the reality was totally different when it comes to pharmaceuticals. So we had to carve our own story when it comes to the pharmaceutical side. And then there were a couple of more challenges because, for example, when we handpicked best of the staff from the industry, so who were experienced in manufacturing, sales, and distribution. To give you an example, the team that we selected, they gave us a timeline that probably in 3 months' time, you will be able to launch all your products range under different categories. But for us, we come from a benchmark or a bent of mind where we did not want it to compromise on the quality front at all. We wanted to go by the book, the way of manufacturing it. But unfortunately, industry at large, they were doing certain things which maybe does not comprehend exactly the way it is supposed to be manufactured with homeopathic principles. So it took us, instead of 3 months, it took us 3 years to come out with the basic range of products in the market. So, and we were ready with our sales team, the distribution network, everything was there, but we did not have any product for 3 years to offer. So that was a big challenge that we see. And then we went on to the international market later on as well to apply for the US FDA. The major challenge was looking into the homeopathic expertise along with the pharmaceutical requirement. There was not much knowledge base available in the country who would have some knowledge of requirements of the FDA based on the market requirements and to fulfill the FDA norms and the homeopathic principles at the same time. So we had to develop our own expertise to our own knowledge base to offer to that. Unfortunately, we got through it. So, it was a big challenge, but yes, we were successful in doing the same and achieving the benchmark, which was required for making the best of the facility in the country.
So is Bigen the only manufacturer today in India with FDA approved?
I would not say it's the only manufacturing company, but probably the only one who's been audited for the US FDA norms, basically, I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Nishant, this has been a wonderful journey for you, and it has been heartening to see homeopathy growing. Whether science is growing or not, you can visualize it very clearly by seeing if the market of the business is growing. If the pharmaceutical companies are growing, if the publishing companies are growing, if the software companies are growing, then we are pretty sure that the market in general is robust and healthy, and there's a good future ahead.
Yeah.
So one last question, Nishant. I'll extend slightly your time because we started late with you. Just a minute more. So we have been speaking about homeopathy as a career option, as a clinician, as an education, in the education field also. What advice would you give to the young homeopathic generation to consider homeopathy as an entrepreneur, as a business?
There are several avenues, I would say, because homeopathy is not just confined to as an entrepreneur, because it is just evolving now. There are many, many different sectors where homeopathy is yet to be available for the business. Because when you talk about clinics, when you talk about pharmaceutical company, you talk about the distribution networks, you talk about the retail sector. So there's a lot to be done in the market, I would say. It's not impossible. It's the market. Because it's not really even, the industry is not really organized at the same time. If someone looks into organizing the industry as such, I think there's a lot to be played, and to bring things on the right structure with the right skeleton. I think when we start fixing the nuts and bolts to the same structure, there's a lot to be done to build this infrastructure further.
Oh, that's very encouraging to hear, that there's more space for more publishers, more pharmaceutical companies, for more remedy sellers, more software companies.
Absolutely.
And more innovators, actually. There are markets available outside the existing market where we need more innovation to capture those markets.
I'd say that, in terms of just quickly, people need, in today's world, there is nothing people are anti-homeopathy or anti any other system. They need the solution, and we have a great solution with us, as we all know that. So just to be delivered in the right package. Like we see that arsenic album, when there was a need in the case of pandemic, there was a great demand in the market. So there was no one who was anti-homeopathy to accept that as a product.
Yes.
But it was just one of the ways of putting the product upfront and making it available. So when one single remedy for one single situation can be brought in the minds of people, so you've got more than 3,000 remedies in a kitty, right? So, and a lot of other systems where we have a great solution. Yes, so at the same, indeed. So I think it's just about packaging in the right way and delivering and communicating our message to the market is what is required. Otherwise, I don't see as a challenge in the market. Challenges are there, but I think I don't see any blockages in the market to work it out on this.
Yes, challenges are there in every field, and you need a lot of hard work, a lot of perseverance to succeed in any field. But right. It's heartening to see, and I'm sure all the homeopathic entrepreneurs, the young chaps who want to do something, make a startup, have some business ideas, your talk should be very encouraging for them to understand that there are newer markets which are seeding at this point of time. The business is growing in general, the market size is growing, and there's a lot of increasing acceptance for homeopathy in general. So that's a very heartening story to hear.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is. So I really hope it gets to the next level for sure. Yeah.
So Nishant, thank you very much for your time today. It has been a wonderful talk with you, and really grateful for your insights.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Bhatia. Thank you.
All right, Nishant.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.